Karma is a beautiful thing. She is a mighty mistress who dishes out judgment and punishment upon those who deserve it. And for those of us who consider ourselves good people, is there anything more satisfying than watching karma mess up awful people who deserve it? These are 15 times justice took matters into their own hands. Number 15. Suspect thinks he's gotten away, gets surprised by police. In Garland, Texas, a traffic stop turned out to be a little out of the ordinary when the guy being pulled over decided to flee in his car. Making it as far as Dallas, the suspect thought he'd lost the cops and decided he could relax. But this guy had obviously been playing too much GTA 5 and had a look to see if there were any stars in the corner of his windshield still flashing. When he didn't see any, he figured he was good to go, apart from the Dallas Police Department helicopter, which was flying overhead, watching his every move, which he somehow failed to even notice. With local schools finishing up for the day nearby, squad cars pulled out of the chase, but the copter kept an eye on him, relaying info back to the cops on the ground. As soon as he's seen walking into the 7-Eleven, unmarked cop cars pull up in front of the store, with a black and white heading out back to cover that exit. He wanders right into the trap. I wonder if the guy working the 7-Eleven was watching Fox as this unfolded and then saw his door open. Like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Now it's time for the juicy topic. The guys in this vehicle were part of an animal safari tour, and they thought it would be funny to throw large, heavy stones at an elephant. But that elephant did not want to be messed with. Instant karma was coming their way. Mother Nature was about to dispense justice. The elephant immediately attacked these guys, raising their vehicle in the air and petrifying the guys, and quite right too. There's no need to be alarmed. The family in the car in front of them helped calm the elephant down, so these guys escaped unharmed. But not before snapping a humiliating photo first. As always, comment down below with the hashtag #JuicyTopic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 14. Thief locked inside store after robbery. Well, here's a story about a guy who definitely did something bad, trying to rob a cell phone store. In Houston, Texas, a man named John Bell set out to rob a joint called Latino Cellular, but he didn't count on a brave and quick-thinking employee who refused to open the register and left the place with the rest of the customers, and then locked the door so that Bell was trapped in the store. And of course, as a cell phone salesperson, the lady had her phone on her to call the cops. As soon as he entered and he just pointed the gun at me, I knew instantly I'm going to get robbed again. But this time I didn't open the cash register. Katrina Leon told reporters the criminal tried firing shots at the locked door, but the door held firm. Realizing he was trapped, Bell then dropped to his knees in prayer and begged Leon for forgiveness. But the prayers went unanswered, and the Karma police showed up instead, arresting him. He got 5 years hard time for his trouble. Number 13. Cop couple out to eat, stop man from robbing restaurant. 2 cops out in Kentucky had ended up getting married after falling in love while serving their community. The only downside was that, with so many bad guys to deal with, they hardly got a night off together. When the occasion did arise, they did their best to make it special and go out for dinner. Celebrating their 6 months of marriage at Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Elizabethtown, they were expecting a quiet and romantic evening. Only when you're a cop, you're never really off duty, and when a masked man walked into the restaurant with a gun, demanding money from the register. The husband and wife team found out their date night was going to be just another day at the office. Leaping into action, brandishing their sidearms, they chased the robber down, and he was later caught, arrested, and jailed. The perp truly picked the worst restaurant imaginable, totally deserted apart from 2 armed cops who wanted nothing more than some Raising Cane's chicken fingers. Let's hope the restaurant at least gave them a free meal for the next time they have a night off together. Number 12. Bird attacks guy for stealing its eggs. Stealing eggs from a bird is a pretty mean thing to do, especially when you decide to pick on a defenseless pigeon, not exactly a golden eagle or an ostrich we're talking here. Who knows what the man was going to do with all the eggs? Maybe make the world's smallest omelet? But in any case, there's something this egg thief did not realize. A pigeon might not be a bird of prey or a giant running monster, but no matter the bird, when it is a mother protecting its eggs, it is capable of turning into Chuck Norris at a moment's notice. And that is exactly what happens here when the bird goes bananas and starts attacking the man, like some kind of crazed half-pigeon, half-Tasmanian devil. It is nothing but a blur of feathers and wings and bird feet, as she gets right in the man's face and manages to scare him off. Thanks to some bird karma, we can only hope that this loser has learned his lesson and will leave the pigeon eggs alone in the future. Number 11. Suspect in LA police pursuit runs, hides under car. After a chase by the LAPD that had lasted just under 10 minutes in the Jefferson Park area, 4 suspects bailed out of a silver sedan and made a run from the cops down some back alleys. At first, they were smart enough to spread out, but then that dumbass instinct kind of kicked in, and they all reconvened just moments later.
Now they may just try to kind of act indiscreetly here,
trying to slow down and walk along as though they were just part of the crowd. The cops were on them pretty quickly, having circled around the alleyway, and before long they had 3 of them on the ground and under arrest. But the 4th suspect was missing and nowhere in sight. Clearly this guy had been a little smarter than his buddies and managed to slip off somewhere. But where? Well, he might have gotten away with it, since he chose a pretty good hiding place underneath a nearby parked car. Only there was a weather station helicopter flying overhead, which managed to get in touch with the cops and guide them to the 4th suspect, who was quickly apprehended, along with the rest of his dumb friends. Number 10. Owner of pet shop fights off bigger and younger man trying to steal a bird. You might not think it, but pet crime is a pretty major criminal industry, and that includes people who will walk right into a pet store and try to steal valuable pets. The criminal in this case must have scoped out the store in advance and figured out that the best thing to go for would be the valuable green macaw. And as a well-built younger guy, he probably thought that the 68-year-old store owner would be a pushover. He was right on the first count, but very wrong on the second. Lloyd Bremseth was having an average day at his pet store when a man walked in ready to commit some crime. He ran in, had the bag in his hand, and over the bird's head. And so, of course, that's about when I lost my mind and I grabbed the stick behind the counter, said Bremseth. He had the bird, and I threw him against the window, and he ran out of the store, and I hit him over the head with a stick and punched him over the car, he continued. It was pretty stressful for the macaw, but the perp got a beating he never would have imagined from a smaller and older man, and there's nothing more satisfying than that. The LAPD were not so enthusiastic about the owner's strategy, saying it could have turned out a lot worse, but Bremseth showed he is one tough bird lover, and as the bird is worth more than $1,000, he'll be facing felony charges for his bird-brained robbery attempt. Number 9. Texas mom with baby in high-speed chase with police. In June of 2018, Texas police were involved in a car chase with an irregular suspect, a mother and her baby. The San Antonio Police Department faced a tense situation as 29-year-old Caitlin Rodriguez drove her car in a wild and uncontrolled fashion with cops in pursuit, although they had no idea about her tiny passenger at the time. Eventually, coordination with helicopter police showed a trooper to deploy a stinger, which shredded the tires on the SUV, but this only caused her to drive even more recklessly, veering off the road at high speed before finally impacting another vehicle at high speed. She jumped from the car and then went around to the back and pulled out her baby from the back seat. Next up, she ran across fast-moving traffic before attempting to carjack another car, which was being driven by a woman, also with a child in the back seat. However, troopers arrived on the scene moments after the crazy bad mom got into the other car and were able to arrest her while also making sure the baby was safe as the other shocked woman ran around to get her own child from the back seat. Bad mom. Also, lock your doors while driving, kids. It's the smart thing to do. Number 8. Quick-thinking jeweler locked a suspected thief inside. When you go into the jewelry business, you know you are going to be the target of criminals. It's just bound to happen one day, so there's plenty of time to think about how you're gonna act and make the best of the security system you have invested in. The ECJ Lux collection owner, Bobby Yampolsky, had that chance when Fatima Milanovic walked in one day and asked to see the most valuable items. Even though the woman didn't have professional examining tools, Yampolsky agreed to give her access to the vault, but he already had his suspicions. She picked out 11 rings that she liked, and their combined value came to $7 million. A pretty big outlay for one afternoon shopping. She insisted on wrapping the jewels herself, and then attempted to distract Yampolsky while she switched the packages for a pre-wrapped one already in her bag. But Yampolsky wasn't fooled, and he merely got up and locked the vault with the woman inside before calling the cops. She now faces charges of grand theft and organized fraud. We believe that Miss Milanovic was misguided by people she trusted and had no intent to ever commit a crime while visiting the US, said a spokesperson. Miss Milanovic is a mother and a wife, missing her family back home in France, and we look forward to having these charges dropped and reuniting her with her loved ones. Sounds about as likely as her own tall tale. Number 7. Man caught on camera stealing peacock. Parrots aren't the only birds that thieves are on the lookout for, as one woman found out when she tried to steal a peacock from her Coconut Grove home. The man pulled up into her drive in his red pickup after scouting the area out for a while beforehand. This man that I've never seen before came on my property, Virginia Jasper said. It worries me because I don't think it was to get a pet because of the way he grabbed them. He went to grab the peacocks who were walking around on the driveway, but like a lot of birds, they have a special power that humans don't. They can fly, so they just flew away. But once they had gotten out of his reach, it was time for the counterattack, and not long after, the crook could be seen sprinting away from the house with a flock of angry peacocks chasing him, in what is both a pretty karmic and pretty comical scene. Don't mess with peacocks, especially not a whole gang of them. Number 6. Man taken into custody after fleeing police on bench, jumping into ocean. The LAPD found themselves involved in a suspected stolen vehicle pursuit on the Playa del Rey, and the suspect made an unorthodox attempt to escape the law. The chase was on at around 7:30 p.m. and led to the suspect driving his car right onto the actual beach. Here's another perp who has clearly been playing too much GTA 5. But while in that game, the cops usually seem to get bored and give up, if you take your stolen Infernus/tank/attack a taco van to the beach and ride up and down a while, in real life, the LAPD keep going until they get their guy, even if he does decide to abandon his vehicle and jump into the ocean to try and swim away from them. Right in front of the cops, who have their weapons drawn, the man makes his way to the water, casually walking in like he's ready for a little doggy paddle, but soon enough he has a change of heart and makes his way back to land. Was he acting weird, or was this really kind of a smart move, allowing him to dump any, illegal substances he might have been carrying into the water? Number 5. Bad driver receives instant karma. Bad driving is one of the things that people hate the most. Not only is it annoying, but it can be life-threateningly dangerous for everyone around. They didn't make up the rules of the road just because they were bored. They did it because otherwise everyone would be driving like a lunatic and people would end up dying constantly. So there's nothing more satisfying than seeing a bad driver getting a big dose of instant karma. In the clip, captured with a dash cam in Missouri, we can see some seriously crappy driving as a guy uses the exit lane to overtake, cutting back across in front of the car, filming at the last moment, saving himself all of the 0.5 seconds. He was then probably thinking about how to cut in front of the next car along the road, only that car turned out to be an unmarked cop car, and the cops inside had noticed this idiot's dangerous driving just behind, so they pulled to one side to let him through, and then immediately put their lights on and pulled him over for a nice ticket to go with his karma. Number 4. Monkey takes revenge after being pushed into pond. Monkeys are smart, everybody should know that, and they certainly know when they are being mistreated. In this video taken at Shishin Temple in Dihua County, shows a tourist creeping up on a wild macaque and pushing the monkey into the water. But the macaque is not having this. He immediately turns and starts chasing the man, who loses a shoe as he attempts to flee. He makes a run into a building, but the macaque calls upon a buddy to come and provide backup, and the two work as a team, going in to attack the man who suffered scratches and bites. The other visitors can be seen laughing, but there's no doubt the man who pushed the monkey wasn't laughing anymore when he had two angry macaques attacking him. This ought to be a good lesson to him and to anyone else who likes to bully animals. Sometimes they are more than capable of standing up for themselves and dealing out some karma. Number 3. The calmest cop ever gives the angriest motorist a ticket. It's not always easy being a cop. You have to deal with the worst people nearly all the time. One of the best skills a cop can develop is zen-like calm in the face of people who are full of rage and frustration. Maine State Police Trooper Stephen Murray seems to have all the calm of the Dalai Lama, and he was able to use this inner peace to make this hysterical man look like a complete fool. The man starts screaming about the ticket and claiming he wasn't even breaking the speed limit, and he even throws the ticket on the ground. But the cop points out that he'll get another ticket for littering unless he picks it up. Still screaming, the man picks up the litter, but the cop points out that he hasn't done a good job and that he will need to scoop up the other piece of paper if he doesn't want another file coming his way. This video is now used to train cops in how to remain calm in the face of provocation, and the result was this driver losing his license due to driving without insurance, so the karma did its work later on. Number 2. Queue jumpers drive right into cop. Everyone is patiently waiting as the traffic grinds to a halt on the highway. We've all been there and it's super annoying. The only way to deal with it is to be super patient and just wait for the traffic to clear. But some idiots out there do not seem to have any patience and make everyone's day just that little bit more annoying by driving right along the shoulder to cut in line in front of everyone else. The driver with his cam on gets pretty annoyed when a second driver tries the trick and calls her out on the bad behavior. The driver continues to try and shove their way in, but a little further along there's some bad news for this bad driver. A cop has already pulled over the first guy trying to cut in line, and then pretty angrily pulls over the second one too, who seems to have tried to sneak back in line. But the cop has seen it all, and it's going to be a nice fat ticket for that line cutter too, and that's some powerful finger pointing by that cop. Number 1. Police chase stolen car, man sips beer during standoff. Driving a stolen vehicle is usually kinda stressful, but not for this suspect, who was driving his stolen car through Seal Beach in a low-speed pursuit with the LAPD. Finally, he realized that there was little point in trying to outrun the cops, so he slowed to a stop. The cops jumped out and told the man to get out of the car, but he just kicked back and sipped on a beer instead. Just after 10 a.m. the pursuit began, and the police were able to deploy spike strips, which blew out at least 2 tires on the car, causing it to slow down. The driver was heading slowly northbound on the Pacific Coast Highway as officers trailed behind, and the man leaned out of the window, shouting at officers. When he stopped, his female passenger jumped out and surrendered to the cops. But the man wasn't done drinking his beer yet, so he took his sweet time about it. Finally, he gave up, getting out of the car with his hands over his head as he was arrested. When have you seen people experience karma that was as satisfying as those on our list? Do you believe in karma, and has it ever happened to you? Let us know in the comments below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.